Hello, Tim from Fair Play Now, and it's the 26th of April 2021, 2 days after the huge shopping trip in London there, and so I've had time to kind of reflect on it, take stock, and just think what a great day I had, and everybody else had by the looks of it as well. Before I sort of talk too much more about it though, I've been, I think, pretty reliably informed that the next one is going to be 31st of May. So I've been told, which is actually the bank holiday, 2nd May bank holiday. So it's obviously a Monday this time. So obviously verify that with other sources, but might be worth penciling in that date for now at least. So I just thought I'd share that bit of news. But yeah, what a great turnout. There's just so many people there. On estimates as far as numbers are concerned, and I've heard everything from 100,000 people to 2 million people. But I'm guessing it's probably on the lower end of that, to be totally honest with you. I'm just trying to think, because I did attend a FA Cup final, the one in 1988, which would have been the old Wembley Stadium, which, if I remember correctly, did hold 100,000 people. Yeah, certainly it's something like the FA Cup final. And I'm just picturing in my mind, and if you sort of take that kind of oval group of people, straighten them out, plonk them down into Oxford Street, how long 100,000 people would be along Oxford Street, sort of thing. And I reckon if you give them a generous amount of room, I think it would probably be 500 yards. I'm just trying to picture in my mind that crowd I experienced at Wembley, and just picturing them in Oxford Street in a straight line. So I reckon 500 yards. Now, Oxford Street is 1.9 kilometres long, which is just over a mile long, about 1.2 miles or something probably, which we'll call that 2,000 yards. It's a bit more than that actually, but we'll call it, on the conservative side, 2,000 yards, which means you've got obviously 4 lots of 500 yards in there. So by that calculation, I would roughly estimate it at 400,000. But you can bet your life that it was a lot more than 100,000, because there was no, and one of the slightly disappointing things about it was that there was almost no mainstream media kind of coverage of it at all. Certainly nothing on the BBC and all the main, or most of the main newspapers. Absolutely nothing, which is a disgrace. But it also tells me that it wasn't just kind of 50,000, 100,000 people, because if that had been the case, they would have reported a little bit on it and just said, oh, you know, a few thousand conspiracy theorists have met and marched in London. But the fact that it is way up into the hundreds of thousands, possibly 500,000 people, maybe even 1 million people, who knows, and that has frightened them, and they've just not known what to do, which I think explains the radio silence on the whole affair by them. I don't know if you saw my video yesterday, the sort of fairly long one, detailing all my experiences on the whole march most of the way around, but I had a little bit of a mini rant, appropriately enough, as I was walking past the Houses of Parliament at the MPs. So check that out if you haven't seen it already. But I've got another one brewing, and this time it's aimed at journalists and reporters from the mainstream media. And if anyone from those places are watching, you know, if you're anything to do with the BBC or mainstream media at all, I think you can be deeply, deeply ashamed of yourselves that you didn't report on probably one of the most significant protests or demonstrations that we've ever seen in London. And as far as I'm concerned, that makes you liars. I'm not reporting on a major incident or event makes you just as much a liar and a propagandist as, kind of when you do report and tell lies. You can call it negative lying or whatever, but it's still lying as far as I'm concerned. And I went round and I shot a bit of video and I showed what happened there truthfully. And in my mind, that makes me much, much better than you guys at reporting the truth. And I'm an electrician. I'm not a journalist or a reporter. I'm an electrician who just attended that event. And my footage and my reporting skills are probably the most amateur you can get. And yet I still ran rings around you guys, didn't I? So you should be ashamed at that. And I know I'd be ashamed if the situation was reversed and you came along after little to no training and wired up a house better than I could. As an electrician, I'd be really ashamed at that. So I hope you're ashamed at not reporting one of the biggest events possibly in British history. Shame on you. Anyway, that's a rant over there, just aimed at the journalists and reporters. And I'm just still reflecting back on that day, and it's going to rank within easily the top 10 best days of my life and most memorable days of my life. I'll never forget that. Tim from Fair Play Now, thanks for watching.